Hey graduates, wagwan. Boy, what a thing with Beenie Man, or him just in a problem so from what day. First him a ball out say him is the king of dancehall. Now his own child has come out to basically say that he is not a supportive father. But make a give me a little 2 cents on that before we move on to the next topic. Now, when I listen to the young ladies live, and you can hear it all over social media, there are so many clips of the same video. I've even posted it over on my Facebook page in case you missed it. But she's basically claiming that, Beenie Man changed his mind when it came to her owning a piece of the property that he says belongs to his child. She then says he turned around and did a whole 360, but I'm sure Mama meant 180, and totally take back him talk and said that where she is living, her part of the property is going to be used for storage and is no longer hers, in which she was planning to invest and fix up. So she did feel a way about that because she claims say is because of Beenie Man woman. That's what made him change his mind. Then she went on to explain a situation with a restaurant owned by Beenie Man, saying that Beenie Man assigned the children the roles of employees. They felt a bit of a way about that because, hello, they didn't think that they were going to be workers in their father's restaurant. I suppose them things that when them step in, them are going to step in a boss mode, and it never to work out like that. Anyway, Madam is now saying that when she take a stop and they have meeting, they have discovered that the business name is actually in the name of the father and the father's partner, the father woman. So she feel as though they are not being given the chance to earn any generational wealth out of their input into the business. Now, I can understand where she's coming from, and while she might feel a bit slighted that her name is not on the business, I'm gonna say this. Beenie Man clearly is showing that he is a woman man first than a father. Because a father would truly invest in their children with the aim of handing over to them so that they can carry on the reins. To think that he is setting up his woman over his children is actually in poor taste. That no look good at all. And of course, not to mention, say, the children felt as though they would have landed a position in the business, given that it's their father's business. Now, there's nothing wrong with working from the ground up, like I said before. This is how you get to know a business intricately inside and out. But you know what? You have to sweeten the labor with some reward. And I guess they did not feel as though they were given any kind of status because this is their father's business. Now, to me, that part not so important. Whether you have status or not, no really cut it. You have to earn that status is how I look at things when it comes to working. But to think that the father refused to put their names on the business is actually very sad. Now, while it is wonderful for generational wealth to be passed on to your children, I think in many ways some children feel it is an expectation. And nowadays, things just don't really go so again. It used to be the case where parents did left things for their kids. But you see some parents out here very careless about this and not even thinking about their future generations. You understand? It's smart parents actually make sure that they set aside investments, trust funds, properties, so that their children can face generational wealth when they pass on, when their parents pass on. And generational wealth is something that helps to build your descendants so that they are more secure in life and they're not out there suffering when you have left this earth. But as I said, not all parents think like that. Not all parents are strategic or ambitious like that. Some parents literally live for today. And then, of course, you also have the fact that some parents genuinely not have it. So, in the case of being a man who has enough to be able to do this, it looks bad. If we were talking about an ordinary person who just a struggle for make ends meet and barely have anything, then the only thing we would be saying is, why is it that you're putting the woman over the child? But we're seeing multiple layers of things going on here. One, it looked like Beenie Man head soft when it come to woman. And two, it looked like him don't rate him kids. Because somehow you would imagine that these kids would be set up in a way that they are comfortable and confident going forward, that they have got something that they can look forward to calling their own as a result of the hard work of their dad. Well, so it go. I just think that she just needs to go out there and handle things herself, and her siblings and everybody need to just eventually think ahead for themselves. They're already getting a good education out of the situation. She was talking about the fact that our siblings are all at university. Continue to do that. Education is definitely the way forward, and it will help to open doors for you as you continue in this life. Now to backside, what is happening in Jamaican primary schools? Boy, I don't really understand what's going on in our primary schools, but apparently yesterday, 4 firearms, toy firearms, were confiscated in a corporate era primary school, according to the head of the St. Andrews South Police Division. Apparently, the children who had the guns in their possession were spoken to, and they were counseled about bullying. So it looked like, say, the kids then bring them in at the school in order for bully somebody. I don't know. But what I particularly had to take a pause at when I read the article was the fact that not only these toy guns were found, but that they found some adult toys that were seized at the school. And I'm like, wait a minute. How them they reach in a primary school? What primary school picnic do with adult toys? And if you know what I mean by adult toys, you can read between the line and pick it up. Our children are getting more and more precocious with their activities, and the kind of things that they are doing is indicative of how global information at fingertips can have an impact on our children's choices of behavior. And no doubt, them being at home and having access to these kind of toys makes it possible for them to actually bring it into school. Now, I remember when my son was a little boy, my older son, and his cousins had come to celebrate his birthday, and they brought various toys, one of which was an army-sized toy rifle. Of course, you know, this mother promptly refused that gift and said, "Thank you, but no thank you. He shall not be having it." I have never bought my boys toy guns as a gift. I am so against it, it isn't funny. And it really isn't something that should be done. If it was up to me, such toys would be banned, right? Because really and truly, guns are not playthings. And even having an imaginary one, as in a toy one, can make a child more interested in having a real one as they get older. You'd be surprised. So, yes, this is what happened in the corporate area of Kingston, where little boys and little girls are thinking it's okay to come to school to palaver with toy guns and adult toys. So, who remembers the fact that Spice was recently banned from schools on her Oh No School campaign? Of course, it is fresh in our minds because Spice is still to this day on TikTok talking about it, talking about how the church came up against her. But do you know that I have located an interesting project that is being run in the island by a voluntary sector organization that has more or less the same focus as Spice, indeed. So, in St. Thomas currently, boys are benefiting from a sexual violence intervention project that is being run by the Angelic Ladies Society. They engage in conversation with the students in sessions that are called Echoes of Change, the Problem with the P. The Echoes of Change project has already reached 6 high schools in the Eastern Parish and will continue throughout this week. The activities have been undertaken in collaboration with various government entities and also the church. In addition, the Angelic Ladies Society had a similar project in 2023 that targeted young girls, and they've now received funding from the EU for the current initiative that is now targeted at male students. So when I heard this, I thought to myself, I wonder if this is the reason why Spice received some opposition, because she may have been treading on some toes for future project work. Remember, the Angelic Ladies Society are also working alongside the government and the church. In the workings of this project, they use male presenters or facilitators who discuss things around the meanings of force, coercion, and manipulation, so that they are given scenarios using vernacular language in order to understand what these terminologies mean and how they play out in everyday life. They also ensure that young men have a sound understanding of what the age of consent is, what it means to give consent, and what withdrawal of consent is. All of it sounds like it's operating within a very solid framework of imparting knowledge towards the young and impressionable young men in the Jamaican school. It is important to note that this project is run by, I would call it, the upper echelons of Jamaican society, as the person who runs it, Morgan Walker, is a 2024 Governor General's Achievement Award recipient. So when somebody like Spice, who they think represents dancehall, comes into school and wants to do more or less the same kind of work, but from a different angle of abstinence and being able to withstand peer pressure through saying no, they see it as a crossover into their arena of work. And I am wondering if these projects that were being run by this group is what is causing the opposition to Spice. What do you guys think? Because Jamaica is a very funny place, right? And it is clear that the Angelic Ladies Society, run by Sarah Lou Morgan Walker, is a well-established one that seems to be going through the correct channels of operation. And without a doubt, as funding has been received by the EU, some of that funding no doubt would be allocated towards working with churches, so that churches would also benefit. Wanna see where may I come from with this? Anyway, it is just interesting that all of a sudden this project felt the need to highlight its activities in the papers so that it becomes known that this is what they're about. Let me know what you think in the comments. But I wouldn't be surprised if, having published this in the paper, schools start to reach out to develop partnership working with this organization as a way to divert away from working with Spice. Anyway, my graduates, don't forget to like up this video, don't forget to share, and if you are new to my channel, do hit the subscribe button and make sure you double click that bell so that when new content is uploaded, you will get your notification. I'll be occasionally dropping these bites because, listen, when me tell you say work a kill me, work a breed me. And I am back on the job. So I have got many things that I need to focus on leading up to the summer. So my lives will be less frequent, but these will be more frequent. So your support and continued watching will be appreciated. Big up your nice clean self, and I'm out.